Nintendo is just goofy. I don't even know what else to say at this point. Now, this is something that's actually already come out, I think, like a year ago. And actually, I think was probably even longer than that, maybe like 2 years ago. But we get even more information on one of the things that is just probably the most confusing thing ever to me. So Nintendo is infamously known for making the worst business decisions of all time. Like, the just stupidest decisions for their consoles and their games. And because they're just weird, they don't like to play along with other people, they like to do their own thing, and they're just such a strange company sometimes. And, you know, we love their games, we love their presentations and stuff that they do, but man, sometimes the business side of them is just goofy. Now, we've known this with Nintendo. In fact, ever since E3 has been gone, they kind of shifted to like the end of June now, just to make sure that they don't have a presentation to interfere with anyone else's presentations. In fact, we just got information. There was rumors suggesting that the partner direct to start this year was going to be a week earlier, but thanks to Xbox actually having their own little, you know, meeting thing that they wanted to do, Nintendo moved it back because they didn't want it to interfere with Xbox. They're so strange like that. Like, they hate direct competition. They don't want to be near anyone else, do anything with anyone else. They want to just do their own thing. And this is something that's pouring off into every other aspect, especially when it comes to partnering with other games, such as Fortnite. You guys probably have heard this by now, and in fact, it's all over the internet right now if you go on Twitter or anywhere else online. There was a recent interview with Donald Mustard, who was the creative CEO of Fortnite, Epic Games, all the jazz. Yeah, he was the big dude that made the storylines and all the seasons and stuff. And he actually retired around Chapter 3, Season 3 was one of his last seasons that he worked on, and that was like a couple of years ago. But they had an interview with him, and he talked about the game and things that he'd love to do to make the game and his inspiration to making Fortnite. And it came down to also characters that he was so excited to have in Fortnite. And he talks about how the whole point of having all these cross, characters and references from movies and video games is because he wanted the game to feel like kids playing in a backyard and playing with action figures and Barbies and toys, and Batman's supposed to do this and Spider-Man's supposed to do this. No, as a kid, you're playing with action figures and they can do whatever you want them to do. And that's the whole point of Fortnite, is having these crazy characters in the game and having them do whatever we want them to, which is obviously shoot guns and, use mythic items and run around a battle royale map and jump out of a battle bus and glide, and it's crazy, but it works. And of course, they wanted to also get some Nintendo characters, and one specifically, Samus. They wanted to get Samus in the game, and I can tell you right now what season this comes from is from Chapter 2, Season 5, where the whole theming of the season was bounty hunters. I know, right? It fit perfectly. I mean, you could even throw Captain Falcon in there. But Samus was supposed to be one of the main characters to be, I don't know if it was in the Battle Pass or just as a skin that we could buy, but one of the main hunters, and part of the big three apparently, at least that we've seen some concept art of, because we got Master Chief from Halo, from Microsoft's side of things, and we got Kratos from God of War with the Sony side of things. What about Nintendo's side? Well, it was supposed to be Samus, but Nintendo said no, of course, and do you want to know why Nintendo said no? They said no because apparently they wanted that skin to only be seen and visible, period, on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, you heard me right. That skin could only be seen by Switch users. So you would essentially be buying a skin, and for everyone that's not playing on Switch, it'd probably be like a default skin or something, because they only wanted Nintendo users and their Switches to see this thing. So Epic Games just said, we can't do that, because yeah, that's stupid. Now, when you look back, this is nothing new for Nintendo. They've done this before with other games. For instance, Rocket League also had Mario, Luigi, and Samus cars, but for some reason, you can only play with them on a Switch console, and you can't see them if you don't own a Switch, which is exactly what they wanted to do with Fortnite, which is just a stupid thing. Like, who cares if someone's able to have an Xbox and buy a Samus car, or have a PlayStation and buy a Mario car? Like, you're getting the profits still from it. Why? Nintendo even did this back in the day, for instance, with the GameCube titles. With SSX Tricky on Tour, you had Mario, Luigi, and Peach playable, but only on the GameCube version, and the same exact thing happened with NBA Street 3, where you had Mario, Luigi, and Peach, but only on the GameCube version. Soul Calibur 2 was also the same way, where you could play as Link, but only on the GameCube version. But, that one I give credit because it also had characters specific to other consoles and platforms as well, depending on what console you bought the game for, so I get that one. but still, Nintendo has always been like this. I'm sure some people would be like, yeah, good, stay away from Fortnite, Nintendo, but what you're not realizing is Nintendo's just making themselves look bad. You have almost every other video game company throwing their characters into Fortnite because it's just becoming this metaverse of movie, shows, and video game characters, and just any characters in general. Like, almost everyone and everything is in Fortnite at this point. It's crazy that Nintendo just denies it because of this weird request that they want. I mean, they even have characters like Ryu, Solid Snake, and Nathan Drake, just to name a few, and even Lara Croft just got recently added. And it just looks bad. It's just like Nintendo doesn't want to play friendly with other people, even though they advertise every new season of Fortnite on their channel, and then they show it off all the time, and they had that big collab where they put Fortnite on the Switch, and, you know, everybody was just like, okay, surely we're going to get some skins, but not the way that we want. Nintendo wants the skins to only be viewable from one console. Yeah, it's just bad. And the reason why you should worry about this, even if you do not care about Fortnite, is the fact that these characters sometimes can just be advertised through a game like Fortnite. When people wonder why Metroid is so niche and why not too many people know about the game, it's because Nintendo doesn't advertise it in ways like this. This would have been a perfect way to get people on Metroid, especially before Metroid Prime 4, and to get people to know the character a little bit more and be curious about the character. And no, this is a real thing. Trust me, I have been victim to this before. There's been characters and skins in Fortnite from specific movies that I've never watched, and I kind of was a little bit more interested in since the character was being talked about in the game now. And this same thing happens with things like Smash Brothers. When Nintendo revealed brand new characters from maybe different games that I've never played, it got me a little bit more interested. You know, Cloud Strife being an example. It got me a little bit interested in Final Fantasy and seeing what was going on with that. And this is a true thing in advertising. This is something that could have definitely got Samus and the Metroid name out there a little bit more. For reasons like that, it's painful to see Nintendo make these decisions that can ultimately help them. And also, it almost makes me feel like Nintendo's a little bit of a hypocrite, if anything, because they have one of the biggest fighters of all time, and probably the biggest one now, was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they literally are pulling third-party characters from other franchises and other platforms onto their game. I mean, they are literally pulling from some of the craziest character cast, and they expect all these companies to accept Nintendo taking their character, and it's not like they're just throwing them in a, you know, average game as a, you know, cameo or something like that. No, they are full-fledged fighters that are coming from other consoles and other series from other platforms. And Nintendo, like, is begging companies for this. I mean, they just pulled Sora, for crying out loud. So the fact that Nintendo's like, okay, give me your characters, but then when somebody asks them, they're like, no, you're not getting our characters. It's strange. And honestly, I just feel naturally in my bones, and this might just be obvious, but if it's not for Sakurai, this would never be happening in Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers would never be as big as it is because of these third-party inclusions, and they probably wouldn't have happened. I mean, I don't even know if Nintendo would even care to add any third-party characters because it's just against what they believe in. But at the same time, would they? Maybe they would, because it's on the Nintendo Switch and only on the Nintendo Switch, so they don't care. Now, this is also coming from somebody who also loves Fortnite, and I've played every single season since the very first one that came out in Chapter 1, Season 1, before it was even really called a season. I've been playing this game, and I've been playing ever since. And I can tell you right now, it's so awesome to see video game characters be added or movie characters be added, but it stinks so bad knowing that there's probably never going to be a future where Nintendo does eventually add a Nintendo character. No Link, no Samus, no Captain Falcon, no Mario collabs of any sort. It's painful to the core. And I just don't get Nintendo sometimes in their thinking methods. It just seems like they don't care. Nintendo does not want to deal with anybody but themselves. They're greedy when it comes to things like this, and to me, it needs to change. Will it? Probably never. Who knows? Nintendo has made some changes with some of their, business practice decisions, but, at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see if Nintendo ever decides to stop being like this. But let me know in the comments down below if you care, if you don't care, and if you do, let me know what Nintendo characters you would love to have in Fortnite, and also let me know if you don't care, why you don't care. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.